Let's do it.
Joined by Brian Flores, who is the head coach of the Miami Dolphins for the last several years, who was released last month and has filed, as of yesterday, a lawsuit against the National Football League about its hiring practices. Also, here are his attorneys, Doug Wigdor and John Alefterakis. Yes. Thank you all for coming. Yeah. And Brian, let's just jump in. We have 20 minutes here, so we will be able to cover a lot of ground, and we are delighted. You filed this lawsuit, which you are aware is obviously going to have enormous repercussions. What was the tipping point for you, through your experiences, that made you feel this was something you needed to do?
Well, I mean, just, you know, I've been on, you know, several interviews over the years. And look, I mean, we didn't have to file a lawsuit for the world to know that there's an issue from a hiring and firing practices in the National Football League.
Why, that's correct. A lot of people have pointed this out. So why did you feel you needed to do this?
Because we need change. That was the number one reason. And I know there's a sacrifice, there's risk to that, but at the end of the day, we need change. We need change. I know many very capable black coaches, some of my staff who I know, if given an opportunity or when given an opportunity, are going to go and do a great job on their interview.
The NFL is comprised of an athlete base that is 70% black. So on the field, 70% of the players are black. Okay? 70%. Out of the, I guess, 27 coaches, there's only one black head coach. And from what I understand, and goddamn, I am such a sports ball Andy right now, but Brian Flores has 32 coaches. Oh, sorry. 32 coaches, 5 teams without a head coach currently, only one black head coach, okay? And only 2 non-black or non-white head coaches other than that. There's one Lebanese coach, and then there is one Puerto Rican coach. So other than that, every other fucking team is coached by a white dude, okay? Now, this conversation is really fucking annoying because immediately people are like, oh, you want to fucking hire someone just on the basis of them being black? It's like, no, but also, if you are to tell me that there is not a single good black coach that is good enough that, like, you know, there are fucking 5 teams with no head coach at the moment, you're really telling me that there's not like one fucking good black coach? I mean, Brian Flores literally was a winning coach.
You look cute as hell.
Okay. Who got fired? The lawsuit is comprised of, like, there's a couple different things going on right now. Okay, so we're gonna unpack these different elements of this lawsuit because one of them is about racism, which goes against the Rooney Rule that the NFL has, which they established in 2003, and that's like the classic lip service, like aesthetic liberalism, diversity quota rule that they passed in 2003, which dictates that every, that requires league teams to interview ethnic minority candidates for head coaching and senior football operation jobs. And it's like an affirmative action principle, basically, but it's just lip service. It's just lip service. And his experience that he is going to describe here, before we get to him, actually, I think we'll do the refresher here. That's like a lot better to probably go through the details. His experience with Bill Belichick kind of proves that the Rooney Rule is simply just a fucking basic lip service for liberals, aesthetic liberalism moment. Okay? The second part of it is, as Jarvis points out here, the second part of the problem is that in order to get a better fucking pick in the draft, the Florida Dolphins, the Dolphins wanted to, or Miami Dolphins, Florida Dolphins, the Dolphins wanted to fucking lose. Okay? So they wanted to pay him to lose. They wanted to pay him $100K in bonuses for every loss in 2019. I said Florida Dolphins. Wow, so they have a better draft spot. Okay? And then they fired him because he was winning too much. So we'll talk about that part of it as well. So let's sports talk boy equals yes. Yeah, I mean, here, let's just continue. Brian Flores is also the only Dolphins coach since 2003 to have consecutive winning seasons. It's not even about racial quotas or anything. It's literally just not only picking white people. Lamau, how do people think that that's normal, but hiring a single black person is going too far? Racism. Let's continue.
Claiming racial discrimination in pro football. Former Miami Dolphins coach Brian Flores is suing the NFL and 3 teams claiming, quote, in certain critical ways, the NFL is racially segregated and is managed much like a plantation.
Spare me the shock. Don't be shocked that this is going on.
Yeah, I mean, it is shocking, guys. Guys, you might be shocked to find out that the NFL is racist. Oh, fuck. I'm so surprised. I mean, goddamn, dude. The NFL fan base, well, at least certain parts of the fan base is racist as shit, as we saw with the whole Black Lives Matter movement with Colin Kaepernick. And the NFL team owners are obviously, a part of that. Even when they're trying to be anti-racist, like the Raiders guy, the Raiders billionaire with the weirdest haircut on the fucking planet, it's still a gigantic hit and a miss. What's the fucking a swing and a miss? Sorry. What's the Yeah, no, we're gonna talk about Jets in a second. Will and I had this conversation earlier today, and it was pretty funny. What was it, Mark Davis, when he fucking came out with like that dumbass tweet, like none of us can breathe or whatever. Anyway, we'll talk about it, but it's hilarious, okay? This part. In certain critical ways, the NFL is racially segregated and is managed much like a plantation. Its 32 owners, none of whom are black, profit substantially from the labor of NFL players, 70% of whom are black. The owners watch the games from atop NFL stadiums in their luxury boxes, while their majority black workforce put their bodies on the line every Sunday, taking vicious hits and suffering debilitating injuries to their bodies and their brains, while the NFL and its owners reap billions of dollars. It's true. It is true. The NFL is incredibly exploitative. It's gotten better over the years, but it's still fucking horrible. Okay? The idea that the idea that they are standing in front of like actual fucking critical CTE research and because that means that it'll hurt their fucking bottom line when we find out that being concussed every goddamn weekend is probably not good for you, and it ends up making you do mass murders because your brain is fucking broken. That's not good for the NFL. So we can't have that.
You're happy for them. Then offered to babysit sometime.
They farm Pop Warner Little Leagues too. It's fucked. Yeah, I mean, of course they do. So, yeah, the NFL to the CTE is like ExxonMobil with climate change. Like, they've known for a very long time, and they fucking have stood in front of it for a very long time. Oh, here, this was the Raiders tweet. I can breathe. Oh, God. Anyway, this is when you're trying to be... This is the least racist NFL owner, by the way.
Turn it up.
Ah! That's what he looks like. Billionaire, by the way. Flies in his private jet to get that haircut, by the way. Personally. Okay, so let's continue.
Dolphins fired Flores last month after back-to-back winning seasons, but the team failed to make the playoffs. The lawsuit even accuses Dolphins owner Stephen Ross of offering to pay Flores $100,000 for every loss during the 2019 season to secure a higher draft pick.
There are a lot of accusations that obviously he has been holding on to, and he decided that he was going to file that lawsuit, which was filed today, again, seeking unspecified damages.
Flores also claims the NFL and certain teams discriminated against him and other black coaches, saying he was subjected to sham interviews, only held so teams could satisfy league rules about interviewing minority candidates. The complaint revealed...
And that's precisely what happened. Like, it's exactly what happened. He got a text message from Bill Belichick that thought that he thought he was texting the right Brian, or the other dude who ended up getting the fucking position over him. a week before he actually interviewed for the position. It was like, yeah, congratulations on your new position, okay? And he went in. Yeah, Brian DeBool, I don't know how you say it, whatever. He went into the fucking interview knowing that he hadn't gotten the position. How crazy is that? Dable? Okay, I don't care.
Reveals text messages Flores received from Patriots coach Bill Belichick last week, where Belichick indicates the Giants already gave the head coaching job to another white coach 3 days before Flores was scheduled to interview with the team.
The fact that you have to have a rule to interview minority coaches is a problem. That's the problem. It's to create this whole utopia that everybody is equal in the NFL.
70% of NFL players are black, but there are no black owners, and after Flores' firing, only one black head coach. In a statement, the NFL said it will defend, quote, against these claims, which are...
It's just pretty funny because, like, they fired the one black coach for being too good.
...are without merit. Adding the NFL and our clubs are deeply committed to ensuring equitable employment practices. The teams named in the lawsuit include the Dolphins and Giants. They have denied any wrongdoing. There's been a long discussion about the...
How exactly does the NFL know that it is without merit? Anyway, let's continue. Hold on.
Discrepancy between how many black players are on the field and the number of black coaches. And there's been a push to get more diversity in the coaching departments, in the front office. And so now we have lawsuits for a coach that's come out saying I have 2 winning seasons and we're not getting equal opportunity as black coaches.
Yeah, he says he knows he's possibly risking his career by doing this, but he wants to make sure that his stance against systemic racism will lead to positive change for generations to come. So we will see.
We'll be following that story.
God damn, it's so loud. George Stephanopoulos, you loud bitch. So we already talked about the Rooney Rule. The rule is named after Dan Rooney, the former owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers and former chairman of the league's diversity committee. It was created as a reaction to the 2002 firing of head coaches Tony Dungy of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Dennis Green of the Minnesota Vikings at a time when Dungy had a winning record and Green had just had his first losing season in 10 years. Shortly afterwards, U.S. civil rights attorneys, Cyrus Mary and Johnny Cochran released a study showing that black head coaches, despite winning a higher percentage of games, were less likely to be hired and more likely to be fired than their white counterparts. So it's not even like this is not new to the NFL. Like, they literally set this bullshit ass rule up specifically for this fucking reason. Okay? I'm going to say all the names wrong. I don't know anything about football other than stuff like this, and I find it very funny and interesting when stuff like this happens. Okay? So yeah, when the Rooney Rule came out, there were 3 black head coaches, and now there is 1. So I don't know if it worked, bro. I don't know if the rule worked. And here is former Cincinnati Bengals head coach Marvin Lewis seconding Brian Flores' claim that black coaches were receiving sham interviews for NFL teams. Lewis says he interviewed for the Carolina Panthers when John Fox had already been picked.
The job, and I can recall that we had lost to the Steelers in the second round of the playoffs, and I remember sitting home on Monday, and I think it was Chris Mortensen or someone else reported that Foxy would be named the head coach of the Panthers on Friday. And when I went to work Tuesday, Brian came in and said, "Hey, I just got off the phone with Ozzie, and the Panthers want you to come down and interview for the job." I said, "Coach, I just heard last night on TV that they're going to name Foxy the coach on Friday." He said, so he goes back, he talks to Ozzie, talks to the people, and I end up.
He was not fired because he won too much, as that was 3 seasons ago. He was fired because he wanted a new QB, but ownership did not.
Going down to Charlotte and so forth and meeting with the Richardson family, and they said that wasn't true and so forth, and they named John the head coach on Friday. So
this is just another queer fighter pilot argument. It does nothing for the working class. What? Do we need more black owners so they can extort money for the new stadiums out of cities? Fuck the whole thing. So I've talked about this before. like representative politics that specifically pluck like a singular person from a marginalized background and elevate them are band-aid solutions, okay? And that the ultimate goal is still to offer material restitution and provide material equality, okay, to all Americans, to all workers around the world, right? So a lot of this stuff is just aesthetic liberalism, okay? It's just purely aesthetic liberalism. It doesn't really do anything. It is just, you're just like looking out singularly for whatever individual is actually good for that job. But it doesn't matter because like when we're talking about coaching positions, when we're talking about coaching positions, when we're talking about like front office positions, executive positions, management positions, like it does address a need, right? If 70% of your workforce, your primary labor force is black, and then you have no fucking black people in managerial positions or very little black people in managerial positions, and you don't have any black people in like executive positions or ownership positions, then, you know, they're not going to address any of the needs of their workforce from the point of view of like systemic racism or discrimination that they're facing. So it's still like a minor step towards progress. It's not the end all be all of progress. I'll never say that. Oh man, if we have more black coaches, like that's going to be so much better. Like it's not. That's not the final solution for racism, right? But it's still a step towards ultimately making the labor force or understanding the desires and needs of your labor force. Okay, that's what I mean. Because you're just adding. Don't say final solution. Oh, sorry. Okay, well you know what I mean. This happened in Tampa in 2010, Detroit in 2017, and Arizona in 2018. NFL teams routinely fire competent or good black coaches to hire mediocre to bad white ones.
Another month of avoiding the top of the hour ad.
It's almost like how there are communities that are 85% black or more, and the police for the community are 95% white. Wanting more black cops while wanting less policing is still a good thing. No. I think wanting more cops from the neighborhood that they police is a little bit different than just saying we want more black cops. More often than not, that means that they will be from the same neighborhoods. But no, more black cops or a more diverse police force is not going to end police brutality. It's a little bit different because the relationship between cops and the people that they police are a contentious one, whereas the relationship between a coach and its players is not. Thank you, Coffee Dave, for the 5 get the subs. Thank you, Burkini Kill, for the 5 get the subs. Having more black cops does not address issues of police brutality. Having more cops come from the same community that they're policing, however, it won't end police brutality, but it will eliminate some of the police brutality. Don't say nope. That's 100% true. Okay. It's a fundamental part of community policing. It's a fundamental part of what do you call it? It's a fundamental part of like actually policing your own neighborhood. It just straight up. If you're from that community, you don't fucking treat every single person that you are supposedly policing like an occupying force, okay? Anyway, and no, POC cops are not nicer in general. Like I said, police should absolutely be from the districts that they are policing, okay? A big part of police brutality comes from having these fucking cursory neighborhoods where all the cops live in, which is an entirely separate district that is getting all the fucking taxpayer funded salaries to pump into a completely different district that now has way better fucking schooling, way better education. They're outsiders that are policing a community without recognizing the underlying needs of that community. That is the big issue. POC cops don't actually, if they're still in those fucking reactionary neighborhoods, they still behave like fucking invading, occupying forces. It doesn't matter. And in a lot of instances, POC cops will then turn around and fucking, overcompensate for their background too. So it's not, it's not about that at all. Okay, let's just continue with this.
I don't know. Again, that's the situation I was in. But you have to go. You have to go and prove that you're worthy to become the head coach. And and it's you're appreciative of the opportunity. But what was supposedly going to happen ended up happening in that case for sure.
Don't you think that would increase the corruption rate if every cop lives in the district? What? No. What corruption rate? Policing as an institution is fundamentally fucking broken in our capitalist organization of the economy, okay? That's number one. So you have to do a fucking complete overhaul of the way policing works currently. What I'm simply suggesting as far as like having people be from the fucking neighborhoods that they actually police would be a small step towards actual tangible progress, not necessarily solving the problem itself.
What's up, my man?
But it's not one that you can solve with like, oh, more black cops. That's going to solve the issue. But if you're talking about corruption, like the institution is corrupt from the top down, okay? Speaking of the top of the hour ad break is not a corrupt institution, especially when you have a counterforce against it, which is, of course, the $5 a month subscription. Now, of course, some of you don't have $5 a month to pay for the subscription, but at least you have Twitch Prime. By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you get one free Prime subscription a month. And even if you don't have that, maybe you're lucky enough to get gifted a sub, like one of the 5 that Coffee Dave or Burkini Kill just gifted. Okay? But if you're not lucky, you got to make your own luck by stealing someone else's Amazon Prime and connecting it to your Twitch account. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. Let's continue with the story.
I just want to say thank you. So last week, I interviewed for the Giants position. I was set to interview on Thursday, the Monday prior. Before I interviewed, I received a text message from Bill Belichick saying congratulations on the Giants, essentially congratulations on the Giants job. There was a little bit of back and forth.
How fucking sad is that? Sounds like you've landed. Congrats. Did you hear something I didn't hear? Giants? I interview on Thursday. Womp womp. I think I have a shot at it.
There was some back and forth and
some confusion because you haven't sat down with the Giants yet.
I have not sat down with the
Giants. Got it. I hear from Buffalo and NYG that you are their guy. Hope it works out if you want it too. That's definitely what I want. Hope you're right, Coach. Thank you. Coach, are you talking to Brian Flores or Brian DeBall? Just making sure.
Back and forth, and I asked him, "Is you talking to the right Brian?" And as you've seen through the text messages, he was actually thought he was texting Brian Daboll,
who they ended up hiring.
Yes, sir.
So at that point, how did that make you feel, knowing that you were walking into an interview where a decision might have already been made?
It was a range of emotions: humiliation, disbelief, anger. I've worked so hard to get to where I am in football, to become a head coach. Put 18 years in this league, and it was to go on what was going to be what felt like or what was a sham interview. I was hurt. And,
but you wouldn't knowing.
Dude, it's so fucking sad. Can you imagine? You're like a fucking successful coach. You have an awesome opportunity. Okay, you think that this like institution wants you. You think this fucking institution wants you. You think you're like going up for a position and they're going to do what's right and like give you the time of day and actually interview you. Meanwhile, the position has already been fucking hired and they're only interviewing you because of some fucking lip service thing called the Rooney Rule. Like they're literally only interviewing you because you're black for like a second. How fucking disgusting is that, dude? Like that sucks. That absolutely fucking sucks.
That you probably weren't going to get it. Why did you continue to go?
I think
Flores wasn't even a bad head coach. He wanted Justin Herbert or QB, but management took Tua Tagovailoa, and then Stephen Ross, the Miami Dolphins owner, wanted Tom Brady in free agency, which Flores didn't want to do because it would have been tampering. Management wanted to get rid of Flores because they wanted Deshaun Watson while Flores didn't want him. After they fired Flores, Ross came out and blamed them going after Watson on Flores. Dude, that's too much sports stuff. I don't. You're giving me too much sports ball shit, bro. Come on.
Maybe it's call it the audacity of hope. I have a belief that there's good in people. I just do.
We knew he wasn't getting that job. On the day before that Giants interview, we reached out to you, CBS, to all of you to start talking about doing this interview today because we knew he wasn't getting the job. We knew it was a setup. We knew they were just trying to comply with the Rooney Rule. We started drafting the complaint, and here we are.
The Giants say they're pleased and confident in the hiring process. I get the sense from the lawsuit and from you right now that you had a feeling like, here we go again. This wasn't the first time you felt discriminated against in the league. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, the Rooney Rule is intended to, give minorities an opportunity to sit down in front of ownership. But I think what it's turned into is an instance where guys are just checking the box. And that's been the case. I've been on some interviews in the past that where I've had that feeling. There's always no way to know for sure, but And I know I'm not alone there.
Have to have the Rooney Rule. Isn't that a problem? What were we going to say?
It's absolutely. I'm sorry. It's absolutely a problem. And one of the things that we're doing to help effectuate this change is, the Rooney Rule's tied to the assumption that presidents, owners are going to do the right thing, hire the best, most qualified candidate. Yeah. What we want to do is tie, certain things to performance and action through this.
But Brian, the reason the timing is really important here because you're actually up for 2 additional NFL jobs right now.
Yeah.
So why did you do this knowing from your own statement that you may have sacrificed your future in the NFL and you're a young man?
Yeah. Well, I let both the teams know that we're gonna file. But look, I love coaching. I'm gifted to coach. I know that. And the relationships I've built with players, coaches, support staff. I'm gifted to coach, and I love coaching, and I want to coach.
And I've heard from reliable sources you're a very good coach. Let the
No doubt
record
about
show.
Always room for improvement, but I like to think that as well. But this is bigger than coaching.
Of course.
This is much bigger than coaching.
Now, we'll get back to the lawsuit in regards to the Broncos and the Giants, but I want to talk about the Miami Dolphins for a second. You make claims that you were offered $100,000 for each game this team lose. Subsequently, to get a better draft pick. Kind of speak on that, because you don't hear about that going on behind closed doors. I'm a former player. I know you as a coach. You want to win.
There's no shot he gets a job after this, right? Like, it's just like the NFL's not rigged. Copium is silly. Like, the NFL is rigged in the sense that, like, teams throwing fucking games is unacceptable. He will definitely be blackballed. Teams throwing games is unacceptable, but like teams playing poorly specifically so they can like get better draft picks, I thought that was like a known thing, right? Owners are good old boys with a fraternity. Same reason why Kaepernick got blackballed. They pay to lose stuff. We'll get the most action because of the gambling partnerships. Maybe as a coordinator, but he'll never be a head coach. But he knew that going in, and that's why it's a brave move.
Win. I walk in that locker room. I want to win. I don't hear people from the front office and above making those type of decisions that can change the outcome of your coaching career.
Look, this game's done a lot for me. I grew up not far from here, in the projects in Brownsville, Brooklyn. And didn't grow up with a lot. And this game, changed my life. So to attack the integrity of the game, that's what I felt was happening in that instance, and I wouldn't stand for it.
And that was Dolphins owner Stephen Ross.
Yes. So.
And you think it hurt your career?
I think it hurt my standing within the organization, and ultimately was the reason why I was let go.
Well, word on the street now, though, Brian, is that either you torpedoed your career, that this is the craziest thing you could have done, or that it's very brave and very bold of you to do. How are you feeling? Are you?
I mean, he definitely torpedoed his career. and it's also a brave and bold thing to do.
Almost a year. Love you, chat. Hasan, you
Flores also alleges that he interviewed the Broncos in 2019, but John Elway and the owner were drunk as fuck and obviously weren't taking the interview seriously. Another toke interview to satisfy the Rooney Rule.
Peace with your decision, and was this a very difficult decision for you to make to file a lawsuit before you have a job?
I understand the risk, and yes.
Wait, from what I understand, didn't they put a fucking shitty roster together? Okay, look, this is the extent of my sports ball knowledge. But from what I understand, yes, tanking is usually more discreet. Usually it's purposely putting together a shitty roster and having the losses pile up naturally. Except they did that in Florida, and he still fucking coached the shitty roster too well. And that's why he was like, dude, I'll give you more money, allegedly.
It was a difficult decision. And
so they could get better draft picks.
And like I said, I love coaching. I do. It's something that I'm passionate about. It brings me joy. And I love helping young people reach their potential and become the best versions of themselves. I'm gifted to do that.
Brian.
But this is bigger than that.
I mean, can I just say, in 2022, the fact that we don't have one black owner, we only have one black head coach.
That's actually I want to touch on.
Really, Brian needs to be applauded for stepping forward to be the first person to really contest it. It's been talked about.
Well, you've heard the statement
but now he has stepped forward to challenge it.
You've heard the statement from the NFL, and a statement: diversity is core to everything we do. There are a few issues on which our clubs and our internal teams spend more time on.
Yeah, they've acknowledged their problems. The executives there have acknowledged their problems. Now the PR team is trying to spin something. They could take two different paths. They could take the path of trying to defend and litigate, or we hope that they take the path of actually trying to correct things, to be an example not only...
What is this? Oh my God, is that fucking...
There are a lot of black players, there are a lot of great black baseball men who would dearly love to be in managerial positions. And I guess what I'm really asking you is to, peel it away a little bit. Just tell me, why do you think it is? Is there still that much prejudice in baseball today?
No, I don't believe it's prejudice. I truly believe that they may not have some of the necessities to be, let's say, a field manager or perhaps a general manager.
You really believe that?
Well, I don't say that they're all of them, but they certainly are short. How many quarterbacks do you have? How many pitchers do you have that are black?
Yeah, but I mean, I got to tell you, that sounds like the same kind of garbage we were hearing 40 years ago about players when they were saying, not really cut out. You remember the days, they hit a black football player in the knees, and no, that really sounds like garbage if you forget to say so.
It's not garbage, Mr. Koppel, because I played on a college team, and the center fielder was black. And then the backfield at NYU with...
Yeah, he's got black friends, bro. It's not racist. He played with other black players, dude. Everybody knows you can't be fucking racist if you've been around black people, famously.
The fullback who was black never knew the difference of whether he was black or white. We were teammates. So
what are we supposed to what are we supposed to get out of what he just said? So he knows black people are incapable? Is that what he's saying? He's like, no, it's not garbage. I've been around black people, so I know for a fact that they can't fucking they don't have what it takes to be a general manager. I'm an expert, dude. That's what he's saying. That's his argument. He's just, oh my God.
It just might be that they why are black men or black people not good swimmers? Because they don't have the buoyancy.
Hassle, thankful.
Wait, what?
Father Arjan.
Black people don't have the buoyancy? What the fuck? Are you serious? What the fuck? That is, yo. That's some good old-fashioned, old-school racism, dude. He was like, let me crank up the racism dial to the maximum degree before getting off the show. He was like, I didn't say enough. He's like, I didn't say enough in the beginning part. I think I couldn't make myself clear. Let me just crank it out to 11 before Oh, fuck. It's in my hand now. I broke it. Oh, god damn it. Yo, his apple pie must taste amazing. Oh, yeah, dude. 100%.
Has Sammy, has high.
That's awesome. That's crazy. Dude, that's a fucking joke from the South related to slave ship jumpers. Holy shit. I can't tell if he's joking or if he unironically believes that like black people are more dense and less buoyant and therefore can't swim well, or if he was just like straight up making a joke.
Half a year, baby.
Dude, my sister's bio teacher in Missouri said black people have denser bones. This was in 2010. Oh my god. Bill Burr on this?
In the stands. I mean, that's just like what's entertainment for me now, you know? I like that Jimmy the Greek moment that happens in sports, you know? Like once every 4 or 5 years, you know that? Like some 50, 55-year-old white dude tries to explain why black people are kicking the
Doesn't matter if it was a joke. No, it's worse. No. I'm saying him trying to make a racist joke is worse than... In my opinion, they're both horrible, right? They're both horrifically racist. But you misunderstood me. I was saying, like, is it a joke? As in, is he trying to fucking make a joke about, like slaves jumping off the slave ship? Which is straight up fucking worse than if he unironically was just, like, so racist that he thought black people were more dense. Does that make sense? Like, I was trying to figure out his intention.
shit out of white people in practically every major sport, you know?
I mean, he's already cranked off the racism dial. Like, it's just, there's no coming back from that, no matter what.
And it always goes down the same way, right? There's always like 3 white dudes, and the one white dude in the middle, he's always like the guy with like the theory. You know, he's always like, you know, it seems these African-American athletes, they seem to have this quick twitch muscle fiber. You know, there's slow twitch, and there's this quick twitch. And the second the dude says that, like, the other 2 white dudes start, like, sliding out of frame. Like, okay, this guy's getting fired, and I'm not going to be part of this highlight. Nice knowing you, Ned. Keep that seat warm, right?
Even I know this, and I, like, don't know shit about sports, but even I remember this, where it was, like, this dude was just, like, straight up talking about how, like, you know, black people have fast twitch muscle fibers, and they're, like...
And the dude in the middle, he's just like hell-bent on getting fired. You know, he starts like bringing up slavery. And evidently they were breeding the strongest man with the strongest woman and that quick twitch.
I love the guy that says everything is racist, except like you're a defender of Bill Burr. No? Are you not? You've been a subscriber for fucking 6 months here. Like anyone that has that take automatically, like everyone that's being sarcastic about like everything is racist. Okay, bro. Like, but you also love Bill Burr, probably. Like, he's a comedian. So what's up? Do you not recognize that he's got a good take here? Like, what's the deal? Typical fucking Mena idiot, by the way. 6-month subscriber, Mena boy over here, being fucking racist. Anyway, let's continue.
Literally 20 minutes later, that dude's on TV. He's like fired, right? He's crying. His family's standing there. He's got like a box of shit from his desk with like an Emmy sticking out. He's like, I don't know what I said. I was just talking about the quick twitch and the slow twitch. And I wasn't just trying to make a point. No, I love that. I love seeing people mess up their careers like that. It's just funny to me. Plus, I gotta admit, as a white dude, on some level, I have to believe in that theory because it's like, are white dudes that bad at basketball? I can't even watch the NBA anymore, man. It's like every highlight, the white dude's like that, the black dude has like his nuts in his face. Fucking I'm just sitting at home like, for the love of God, tackle the guy. Jesus Christ, get out of the way. Do you ever get tired of those 2 nuts flying over your head? You know you're gonna be on SportsCenter. Just get out of the way. Dude, I'm telling you, there's got to be something to that theory. I saw this show one time on runaway slaves. It was one of the most amazing programs I've ever seen in my life. Dude, when you ran away as a slave, you just didn't run to the end of the driveway and be like, fuck that job, just start walking down the street. Dude, You had to like run through whole states. There's dogs chasing you, you're hurdling shit, you're swimming. Those were the first fucking triathletes. And there was nobody helping them out. There was no dude on the side of the road like, come on, man, 2 more states, you're in Ohio. Suck it up, you're looking good. You're looking good. Yeah, dude, you were on your own. Is it any wonder? 250, 300 years of that shit, and then I'm gonna D you up in gym class? It ain't happening. I come from hundreds of years of alcoholics. I got like half a liver, you know what I mean? It's just... You know what's funny to me about that stuff? You can't even like, you know, I obviously know that theory's crazy, but it's just like, you can't even bring up how well black people are doing in sports. Everybody gets all weird about it, which I don't understand because it's like a compliment, you know? Like, feel how weird it is right now. You know, I just brought that shit up. I'm saying something good, right? It's like I saw a coach get in trouble for that shit. Like, his team was like 0-6 or something. They just couldn't win, and every week the press was just getting on him more and more and more, right? And the dude, he was just like flustered, and he had like a moment of honesty. They were like, why can't you guys win a game? He's like, oh, you know, I don't know, the offense isn't getting it done, you know, defense, you know, they're too slow, and it just run out. Tell him, we gotta get some more black guys on this team, but I'm telling you, it's just not. And immediately, everybody's like, what? Everyone started freaking out like they had no idea what this dude was talking about. It's like, are you watching SportsCenter? Or do you see the Olympics? Like, I love the 100-meter dash, right? There's always like 9 black dudes and that one token white guy in like lane 8. I'm just sitting there going, come on, man, one time. Just one time, just win the bronze, just do what you gotta do. And the white dude always stays with him till like the first turn, then he like fucking blows out his hammy. Those other 8 black dudes are like, where's that white dude the next Olympics? He's like up in the broadcast booth, his career's over. He's like a commentator. Yeah, it's gonna be a great race. Still can't feel my fucking toes, but I'm telling you. No, I don't get it.
17 months is a long time. Wow.
It's like a compliment. We're saying you're fast. That's a good thing, right? People start all freaking out. Oh, you're acting like that's all we can do. You're saying we can't be scientists. No, we're not. All we're saying is if there was a race through the microscopes, you fuckers would win. We're just saying that you're fast. You get there first. Your lab coat would be flapping in the wind. I'd get there like 3 minutes later, all cramped up. Are you looking at bacteria? No, you go first. You just go first. Jesus Christ. That was a Volvo. The guy ran by a Volvo in street shoes. I've never seen that before in my life. No, I get into those arguments all the time. All the time. Friends of mine will be like, well, how come anytime a black athlete does something, they say it's an athletic move? Anytime a white athlete does it, they say it's an intelligent move. And it's like, well, fair enough, man. It just depends.
Kind of a weird take. Positive stereotypes are still stereotypes. Yeah. They are. Making jokes about it. I don't know if you know this, but what he's doing right here, he's a comedian. Okay? Comedian. And what he's doing is making jokes. And when you hear a joke like that, you have to either go, I understand the context and the intent behind this, and I find this to be funny, and go, haha. Or you go, I don't like this. It's kind of problematic. And then you keep it to yourself.
Depends on what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, if you read a defense, white or black, that's an intelligent move, right? But if you take off from the foul line, jump over 9 other dudes, and throw the shit down, those other 9 guys aren't standing there like, fuck, why didn't I think of that shit? Here I am dribbling around, guys. That's some superhero shit. Shit, like a cake flapping in the wind with a big S on your chest. I'm telling you, man, that's the funny thing about Hitler. Just let me finish. Let me work my way through this idea. No, that's my favorite sports clip is that Jesse Owens shit. I just love it because their whole angle was fucked up. He made Hitler leave in like the 3rd quarter, right? He's putting down his number 1 finger, just fucking walking out of the stadium. Jesus Christ. their whole thing was like, we are going to create a superior race. It's like, dude, I think we accidentally already did that. We sent a select group of people to the gym every day for a couple hundred years. It's paying dividends. They're fucking dunking on us every day. Dude, how quiet was that limo ride home with Hitler? You know what I'm saying? You know he was talking crazy shit when they were on the way there. They were all amped up. We are going to dominate, Sieg Heil, just going off. That whole ride home, they're just sitting there all quiet. You're sitting next to an even angrier than usual Adolf Hitler, trying to make some sort of small talk, like, it is one nice day, isn't it? You know, nice.
No.
Hassle.
That's not okay to say. Cancel him, dude. Fuck it. Cancel Bill Burr. Do it. Oh, man. It's crazy. It's been a while since I've, like, actually heard fucking stand-up that doesn't revolve around people fucking constantly complaining about how the youth nowadays can't fucking take a joke or something. Anyway. Yeah, I know. I'm not going to play the Jimmy the Greek comments again. Part of the reason why Bill Burr is really funny, or what do I always say about comedy? Like when it comes from a place of understanding, the fucking subject matter, you can make good jokes about it. Part of the reason why Bill Burr is capable of making still race related humor
3 months till the brain
that revolves around black people is because of his wife. Like, he's been in a loving marriage for many, many years. So he's not like, you know, he's Irish. Yeah, that's why. And Patrice O'Neal, too, for sure. His relationship with Patrice O'Neal. I suggest you check out all Chris Rock stand-up. Some good stuff for discussion. Like when you made that joke about trans people all being, hearts of iron 4 addicts. Exactly. I think my funniest trans joke is Doreen, though. I mean, straight up. Like, I think that was pretty fire. Like, imagine you have an opportunity to finally like choose a name. You know what I mean? Something that many people don't really get the opportunity to do, and you just go with Doreen. Not good. You stole that shit from Twitter? I 100,000% did not. Fuck you. If anything, someone fucking heard me say it and then tweeted that. How dare you, dude? How fucking dare you? It's actually pretty funny, though, because you think it's stolen. So I guess thank you for complimenting it. When people know your priors, you get a lot more leeway in joking about things because people don't assume maliciousness unless they're leftists, in which case, no jokes. Yeah, that's true.
19-month brain rot.
Or Gilbert. I don't understand how this is different from Joe Rogan saying just jokes. Intent, context, background, your level of involvement with the community that you're speaking out against or about. All of these things play a role because obviously nothing is just like When you read a fucking joke in a written format, you have already removed it from a million different contextual layers, okay? That's precisely why it's not the fucking same as like actually listening to a stand-up bit, okay? Anyway, it's a statistical impossibility that NFL head coaches would be this white at random, no different than if you woke up tomorrow and 50% of the NHL coaches were black. Also, the overwhelming arrogance of white folks to believe we rose to the top of every industry on merit alone is unfathomable.
I was thinking about going down this.
This is what Nick Wright said.
I had two different avenues that I was thinking about going down this. And you talked me out of going down the one that my gut was. My gut was, I'm going to prove it to you mathematically. I've got the Bayes theorem at my disposal. We can do the numbers on percentage of players that become coaches, and the statistical impossibility that if it's random, if it's fair, if it's just meritocracy, that we would have one team currently coached by a black guy, that the last 2 hiring cycles, 16 jobs have been open, 1 was filled by a black guy, and that guy was summarily fired. And a lot of people thought he was hired to be fired in David Culley. But I don't know if people want math this early in the morning. So instead, I'm going to go to the more emotional reaction, which is this. If you woke up tomorrow and half of the head coaches in the NHL were black, would that strike you as a little odd? It's like, well, how did that happen? The league is, 2% black and half the head coaches are black. If you woke up tomorrow and half of professional hockey's coaches were black, would you think, well, there must be some type of sustained effort or something, but not just a meritocracy that is happening that is leading to this? Of course you would, because it's unimaginable. But that is exactly what is happening in the NFL on a statistical basis, as far as to have 70% of the league in a league where the vast majority of head coaches and coordinators played at least at the collegiate level, to have this minute amount of representation. And it is the most frustrating thing for me, Wilds, is this, that the response to anything like this from folks that don't want to see what is clearly in front of their faces, well, you just want to hire the best person for the job. Of course you do. Of course you do. But it is the implication, and you see this across fields.
I mean, I 100% agree with him. I don't know what this dude's background is, but like, I do 100% agree with him that it's like, it's ridiculous to assume that like there's not, like the assumption that comes along with like looking at the NFL coaches and the demographics is that like, oh no, they definitely got there because they're the fucking best of the best. That's ridiculous. It's an entire system that exists everywhere in this country, for the record. It's an entire system where like you don't get elevated into lower coaching positions. And then if there are less lower coaches, like less like, I don't know, fucking offensive coaches, defensive coaches, whatever the fuck, then less likely to have black head coaches, less likely to then elevate into even higher positions in management, right? General managers, stuff like that. That's precisely how this works. There is a end to your career as a black person who plays football. Your career is done. After you're done playing, you're done. You're completely done. It's ridiculous to assume that there is there's no future for. I mean, there aren't enough good black coaches. Like, it's just completely ridiculous. Holy shit, boo-hoo, I'm black and oppressed is this entire channel. I mean, we're quite literally talking about, a very openly racist thing that happened in the NFL. But since you are most likely a racist piece of shit, it's very difficult for you to comprehend that. What are you going to do about it, dude? It must be really confusing. It must be really, really, really fucking confusing living in a world where, very obvious that things are changing, but you're stuck in the old ways of thinking because you're dumbass, possibly related to one another, stupid fucking pure genetic gene pool parents shat you out in the fucking bathtub and then basically fucking educated you in that old way of thinking. So now your dumbass inbred ass is legitimately just confused and scared. So you're just like, oh man, black people are oppressed. I'm hearing it so much. Very pathetic. It'll be better though, one day. I'm a minority myself and don't cry about my setbacks for my race. Ah ha ha, cry about being black more. I don't know if you know this, but I'm white. Careful, Santos said you can't be mean to males. Yeah, I mean, seriously. Yeah, motherfuckers like, I'm a minority, probably ginger. Colin Kaepernick, A. Reed, Brian Flores, they went against the status quo, and for that, they will likely never work in the NFL again. This tells you everything, but at least the NFL did this. End racism. Stop hate. Let's go.
Why are white people, mostly white males, at the top of almost every field in America? Well, it must be a meritocracy. Like, say that thing out loud. Think about any industry. And it's like, even in sports, where you can't be like, well, you know, white people just have more access. No, black guys all over the league. And yet still, when it gets to, as Broussard said, the positions where it's like, okay, but we need a thinker. We need a real smart, cutting-edge guy. There's a clear ceiling on what the vast majority of NFL ownership believes black people are equipped to do. And it is undeniable, statistically, Wilds. And I do think it's going to take a seismic event like what Brian Flores is doing to potentially try to change the paradigm, because it's going in the wrong direction. The hiring cycles have gotten whiter and whiter, not more and more diverse over the last few years.
You want to know how that motherfucker is not like the dude that we just banned wasn't actually like a minority in the way that he's saying it? Because if you fucking experience any kind of marginalization from a dominant, oppressive majority, then you would recognize solidarity with others who, you know, see the same thing. You wouldn't turn around and be like, whatever, dude, I made it. Just shut the fuck up. Then, you know, you didn't experience it then. What is this one? Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Motherfucker was in here following since June 27, 2019. This is the one time he's like, now is my time to speak up. If black Americans make up 12% of the population and 12.5% of head coaches are black, isn't that expected representation? First of all, if you look at historically what percentage of fucking coaches are black, that doesn't even make sense. This is the exact same argument with this is the exact same fucking argument with black senators.
At Hasanabi,
why is it so hard for fucking racists to actually do math? Why? It does not make sense. Also, 70% of the players are black, dude. 70% of the players are black. And you can't even look at an individual season in the league. You have to look at across the board, historically, since black people were allowed to play football. Okay? When you look at it across the board throughout the history of the NFL. Yeah, and 1 out of 32 is not 12% either, but it doesn't even matter. It's just it's so fucking idiotic to make this to make this assertion.
for the NFL, but for American society to lead by example.
When you talk about the owners, you got 31 white billionaires, and then the Packers have a special situation. 70% of the players are black. There's a power dynamic that's visible there. Yeah. In the lawsuit, there's this explosive line that the NFL is managed much like a plantation. That's a direct quote. Why did you decide to settle on that metaphor?
7 months.
I think. Look, we didn't have to file a lawsuit for
I'm gonna be
the
back.
world to know that there's a problem from a hiring standpoint in regards to minority coaches in the National Football League. The numbers speak for themselves.
Right.
We filed the lawsuit so that we could create some change, and that's important to me. I think we're at a fork in the road right now. We're either going to keep it the way it is, or we're going to go in another direction and actually make some real change where we're actually changing the hearts and minds of those who make decisions to hire head coaches, executives, et cetera. And that's where we got to get to. We got to change hearts and minds.
Brian, I heard someone say, but don't companies or clubs have the right to hire the person they think is the best qualified for the job or the person they feel is right for the job?
Whatever race they are.
Whatever race they are, yes.
They do, and that's very reasonable to me. But at the same time, there are I know a lot of very capable coaches, executives, minorities, coaches, executives who are minorities, and in a lot of cases are as qualified, more qualified, and quite frankly, better than their white counterparts.
But the difference here, though, is that
they're not given an equal opportunity.
Exactly.
And, when we talk about this fork in the road that the NFL has, and Gail, you talked about the statement that they released, denying and saying that they're going to defend. What was absent from their response to this 60-page complaint with serious allegations from a decorated head coach is, how about we'll investigate? We're troubled by this. We'll look into it. Immediate, no, denial, and disregard and defend.
Yeah. That part was really funny, that the NFL was like, oh, no, this is untrue. How do you know, motherfucker? You didn't even look into it. It took you 2 hours after the fucking lawsuit came out. You didn't even read it. You're just like, nope, not true. Oh, cool. Okay, got it. It's fine.
The point about the companies have the right to hire who they think is best qualified, we all agree with that. But the difference here, if what you're saying is true and you seem to have receipts, they knew ahead of time that you weren't going to get the job. So I'm thinking, why waste your time and theirs?
And the word minority is it's loaded because it has different connotations. Yeah. We might be marginalized in certain areas, but our contributions to this game, both on the field and outside of the lines, are immense. Yeah. And when you have quality coaches that are available, that are gifted and can lead teams but not getting the opportunity, that's why you are standing for what you're standing for. But I want you to have one last word.
Those are cold facts.
That's right. One last thing, I'll let you say this, but you still want to coach in this league.
I absolutely want to coach in this league, but I also know that I'm not the only story here.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one with a story to tell.
You're speaking up for decades of this going on and hopefully stopping it from happening.
There are people who have come before me, and I know there are others who have similar stories, and it's hard to speak out. It is. You're giving up, you're making some sacrifices, but this is bigger than football. This is bigger than coaching.
Thank you for using your voice. You're doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Yo, there we go. Black people make up 13% of the population, yet nearly 60% of the athletes in the NFL. But people in the NFL but still the NFL systemically racist against black people. The system is conspiring to make them world famous millionaires. I'm so glad that Brian Flores is exposing the plot. Love that, dude. Fucking love that. Of course, the theocratic fascist with the most incredibly predictable take, dude. I don't understand. Like, plantations are comprised 70% of black people. What the fuck? Guess what, Sweaty? Seems like we're, giving meaningful employment to black people in the antebellum South. So,
I've been here since my second year of college, and now I'm in my second year of medical school.
Good one, Matt. Good one, dude.
Hasanabi broadcast.